Alright, welcome back to Victor and Burns, everyone. Today we're doing something we probably shouldn't, but we're going to do it anyway, because hey, why not? Life's short. We're going to take this supercharger off a Toyota MR2, an SC12, and we're going to put it in that 1970 Morris Minor Pickup. As you can tell, there's plenty of room for activities in there, so you can buy this kit to convert this onto an A-Series for a Mini. I went the other way. I decided to manufacture the manifolds all myself. I would have filmed it, but it was kind of boring. There's a lot of cutting and fitting and grinding and lots of boring stuff. So that's what we've ended up with. Got a bit of adjustment on here, tensioner. I don't believe this is the correct pulley for it, but this is the one that came with it. So we're going to throw that on. I made some gaskets. So we're in the side here. Bit of suck bang blow intake, and we've got a HS 44 inch and 3/4 carburetor, and the piece I had to buy, bottom pulley for the crank, so we can run the V belt and the 5 belt. Right, let's take all this magical stuff and go put it into here. Right, little squirt of that, bit of choke. Oh, makes the noise. Right. A lot of choke. Holy shit. Right, a lot of choke for that. So we're back working on the Mighty Morrie today. Run into a few issues. We've solved a few problems, but I feel like we've created a few more. So you may notice we'll have a look in the old engine bay back in the game. Supercharger is all still bolted up, but we've lost the pulleys off the front. Now for some reason this supercharger that I got had aftermarket pulleys on the front of it, which I didn't think too much about at the time. Well, this guy here bolts onto this guy here and goes onto the spline, and then it's supposed to have that nut on there. Now when I set this all up, I tried to remove this and it didn't go anywhere, so I didn't think much of it. There's a bearing supposed to sit in there too, and all was happy days until I started it up and fired it up and tried to tune it, and that pulley started to wander, and it started to wander further and further out until it pretty much fell off. It didn't do too much damage, so no biggie there. Managed to find a nut to fit the end, but because of that, now once it is all tidied up and cranked all the way in with all its bearings in the right place, it doesn't line up with the crank pulley, which is vaguely annoying. So I've gone and seen my local machine shop. I got myself a little spacer made. Just going to go into there. Pulley's going to go on the top. Back in the game. Happy days. In the meantime, I have found there's a bearing on the inside there as well, which is I feel a bit worse for wear, a bit gritty. So we're going to get that one swapped out as well. In the meantime, we're dealing with our heater hose issues. So we're just going to tidy that with a nice piece of copper pipe. I'm going to chop that off, run on here, get a couple of little mounting brackets there, and then it's going to tuck in nicely underneath and follow that heater hose all the way down the radiator hose and hold that out of the way hopefully. And we'll be happy days there. So we've gone 2 steps forwards and 5 steps backwards at the moment, but we're getting there. I may have to notch out a bit more on my tensioner pulley there, because that one is a bit not quite enough tension. Might take another nip out of the bottom of there, but it's coming along. I've got myself a new throttle cable, courtesy of actually my local bicycle chap. That is actually a bicycle gear cable, which fits beautifully in there and has a nice pull stainless steel too, so it doesn't do any issues. And you can have any length you want. So I'm pretty much waiting on everything else now. I've got the electric fans wired up on the back here. That sucker there, looking pretty good. 9-inch fan. Got a thermostat put on the bottom of the radiator, but that's was working well. And my tuning was starting to go well, but then, yeah, like I said, all fell apart. So we'll get back into it. I just got to get that bearing. We'll start putting some stuff back together and back to the tuning. And I've got some gauges lined up for it too, so we can see before we send it to the moon how much boost we're running. I've got a thermostat gauge for us so we know how hot we're getting, and going from there. Now just going to work on the timing. That may be our next issue. Fueling not so bad, timing could be interesting. Got to work out how we're going to play with that, because I feel like the classic distributor curve is not going to be particularly helpful for our boosted application. Anyway, signing out. Let's go do some more work. Alright, so my shiny new pulley doesn't have any timing marks on it, which is really quite annoying. So what I'm going to do, put the original one back on, and as anyone know with a Morrie, the timing marks are right on the bottom, right down there, which is a complete pain in the ass to actually see anything. You have to jack the car up in order to check the timing. So I'm going to put the standard one back on, set it at top dead center, and then redo these timing marks somewhere where we can see them, and hopefully all will be well. So struggle on. So this isn't actually the distributor that we have in the car. This is just another spare one I had around to pull apart to see how it's done. Now, inside here there are some balance weights which I've taken out earlier and some springs. Now what we're trying to do is disable some of the advance on this. I've got mine set up so we've got about 10 degrees of advance, that's maximum, so the mechanical advance will only ever move 10 degrees, which seems to work for us because any more than sort of 20, 22 degrees seems to start pinging. So basically what you need to do is this will spin on the shaft. There's a mechanical, when it gets up to speed, the balance weights will throw it out and the springs will give it some sort of curve. Now what you want to do is find the stop on this, which I believe is here on this one, and according to the little yellow Bible is you need to build that up slightly. If you've got a welder or you've got something else, build up that surface so that advance curve will only ever move, I think they advance at least 20 degrees in myself. I didn't actually check it before I did it. But you need to be able to stop that sooner, or else you're always going to be fighting it. The other option is, I've been told to just lock the distributor completely so there's no advance at all, and then you just set it to the maximum advance that you want, and then you pretty much just suck it and see. But that's what we're doing. The one I've got in there is actually slightly different for some reason. This one, I don't know how they put it together. It's very difficult to get that piece off that piece, so conveniently the other one was actually a lot easier. I just had that flat plate, built that up, filed it back nice and smooth, made it all look relatively alright, and away we went. So then you can put your springs, your balance weights, everything back in again. I'm not going to do that because I don't need to. Don't particularly need this one. And put your whole distributor back together. Right, back to the car. We are looking pretty good. Everything back together. Everything up nice and tight. Distributor back in. This one is slightly different. I do have the little adjustable timing notches on there, so I can have a little bit of a play with it. Still got the boost gauge in there. Now, my timing, you can't see anything down there, but timing points are down there. You can just see them. That should all be going well. And it seems to run nicely. Doesn't ping. Drives pretty good. Sounds a bit shit, so we've got a bit of a plan to put a new exhaust on, but we'll see how that plays out. Let's go for a drive, eh? Okay, so let's go for a wee test drive, eh? So it does run, and it does drive. It just sounds like shit, so let's see what we can do with it. Let's go for a bit of a lap. it does drive quite nicely. It does tend to slip the clutch a little though, if you give it the full beats. The temperatures seem good, boost comes in, fueling's not, still got a little bit to play with, but if we give it a boot full, and then a bit of clutch. Spin and a little bit of clutch slip, so we can go either way. Once we get rid of that awful fucking noise, we'll be right. Alright, there you have it. Back in one piece. It runs. It hasn't exploded yet. Happy days. As I mentioned before, we're probably going to throw some more exhaust at it. It sounds like a strangled cat, so we're going to have a bit of a play with that, see what we can do. Hopefully we can make something a bit better. I got a few mufflers on order. We're going to go arguably a bit overkill. We're going to go 2 1/4 inch with 2 mufflers. Go back to the old style, come out onto the driver's side. But yeah, seems to be a mild success so far. I don't know if I'm going to try and throw it at a dyno, might see what happens. The local guys don't seem too keen to tune it, but they said I'm welcome to put it on there. They can run it for me, I can have a bit of a play with it. We may be able to get some numbers, we'll see what happens. But yeah, so like I said, it's no means a how-to guide to how to do a supercharger on a Morris Minor, but it's working so far. You might have to like and subscribe, and then you can keep an eye on us and see how we get on. And may just send it to high heaven. But yeah, we'll keep you posted. Thanks for looking. Thanks for watching. See you next time on V&Vs.